Have you learned about technologies from the process of constructing this project?
Well, first of all, we made the ident and we used Photoshop, which I thought worked quite well because you have so many tools on there to do pretty much anything you want, and it was quite easy. And after we did Photoshop with it, we added music with GarageBand, and it was just easy. It was like 1, 2, 3 almost.
Yeah, I think using Photoshop helped a lot because we took 2 completely separate images for our overlooked ident. We took the image of the hill, a nice sort of peaceful image, and then also the image of the city, and sort of merged them together and made it black and white.
It's almost like you couldn't really tell it was 2 images.
No,
it just
you
looks
can't
like
really
one
tell
image.
at all. So yeah, I think that worked really well to sort of have the image of it. And then we downloaded a font from the internet, which we used for the...
Since like in our last video we didn't have any music, like the technology to be able to like convert a YouTube like music into an MP3 just made our videos so much better and just run so smoothly as well.
Yeah, without the music it really sort of loses the effect. And, like,
we didn't really want it to like dramatic music, it was just...
No, we just needed a background music to just something there so it wasn't like dead quiet.
Yeah.
But it's sort of, the music sort of fits in, like when Bethany's washing her hands afterwards, you can hear the music's gone up, and that just really fits really well because it sort of tenses you a bit more and you get more a bit like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, and one thing we used like throughout everything and even still now is the blog, and we basically done a diary entry every day, and we just basically logged everything we'd done. And at first I think we found that quite hard, but once we got into it we've
just
kind of made it routine.
Yeah.
And I think we've learned a lot more about blogging and like embedding our all of our media onto there, and it's basically just displaying our work.
It's
and
made it a lot easier
process.
to keep everything together. Whereas if we didn't have the blog, we'd have bits and bobs everywhere in different folders.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's all just together and it's just easy.
Yeah, and I learned that with like organising my files on the computer as well, like all of our work. Like first it was all scattered all over my desktop, and then I found that once it was all organised into place, we had less chance of losing it and backing it up and stuff like that. So I've learnt that.
One thing with the blog is we originally were going to use Tumblr because we thought it gave a better image, but the problem was that the IT system here actually blocked it, so we couldn't access it from college, which would obviously be a problem.
It was time consuming because we just lost all that work.
We did have to decide whether we would keep the Tumblr one going and perhaps do the blog work here, and then someone would go home and copy it onto the Tumblr one because we couldn't access it.
I almost think that the one we did use was a lot easier anyway than Tumblr.
Yeah.
Tumblr was...
I think we were worried
it was
we couldn't personalise it
Tumblr
enough.
was more, like personalised and image, whereas if this one's it's just very simple.
We just
neat,
worried
does
about
look
like
good.
the
It looks
presentation
good as
rather
well.
than quality at the time.
Yeah.
But now we just realised that what you put in there is just what matters.
Yeah,
really.
it doesn't really. None of the examiners are going to care about the overall presentation, unless obviously your spelling and grammar is awful and stuff like that. They're not going to care whether it's a pretty colour or not.
I think it does look pretty good, and it's all organised and it's all in place. So.
And we did little pictures every time.
Were there like any was there any downsides? I think with like the whole people not being here, work being missing because of memory sticks.
Yeah, that's good because anyone can get on the blog.
Yeah.
Because you can access it from any account.
One of the problems we came across was when Ben wasn't here one day, and the ident was only saved on his memory stick. We didn't know where else it was saved.
And on my account,
we couldn't
have the password.
If we didn't have the ident, we couldn't put that into the final project, which we lost time because we couldn't get enough feedback as we wanted to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so actually we managed to, because it was the ident was on YouTube and the link was on our blog, managed to go onto YouTube and download the video using your online converter downloading thing, and download the video, which we could then import into our into Final Cut with our Final Cut. So yeah, that was technology coming in useful, but also the problem of not backing up enough and not having things
Yeah, I think
saved in enough places.
If we do this again, I think we need to make sure that it's on someone different's memory stick rather than it all
I
relying
think
on
everyone
me.
should
'cause then if
have a
I'm
copy
away-
on their like
Yeah.
document.
Yeah, I think everyone needs a copy at least.
Yeah.
But I
definitely.
think the problem is with people like you two are doing sort of art and photography, it's
Memory
you have a
taking
lot
up, yeah.
you have a lot less memory left on your system because you use that with your art subjects. So we obviously, if we're not going to be using your accounts ever, we don't want to clog up your memory with
Yeah.
media work. But then if you two were the only people, me and
Yeah,
Ben
we
were
need
both
that
away and you
work.
two
Yeah.
were the only people
Yeah.
in,
That's like
You'd
the problem
need it,
with
so
technology.
I
That's
think-
just the only
perhaps maybe
If we had like one account for everyone, I think that would have solved it if everyone knew the password.
Yeah.
So then there's limits within the college whether they can set that up and stuff like that.
I think another possible thing was that we could have had a memory stick which everyone's like
Maybe we
everything
kept
was
it in
saved
the
in,
class,
and
Yeah.
given it to our teacher Michelle, and she can
put it in the cupboard and lock
put it
it
in the
away. So
cupboard.
in the event if someone is away, then yeah. The
Yeah,
problem with that is we
that's
would
good.
have to back it up every lesson. So if
which
we forgot,
could be
then
time consuming. Yeah.
But I think I've learnt a lot more about Final Cut Pro since I started this because I didn't do media at GCSE. I've learnt a lot more about the technologies that can do it, that you can edit with.
Yeah.
I've learnt a lot about different programs and stuff and what you use for what.
I think I've just learned about just reflecting back to people's comments and just playing around with the different things
Yeah,
to make
definitely
Yeah.
learn that listening to what other people
What their
say and their
opinions are.
feedback. If we hadn't listened to everyone's advice about like they're not understanding it, we wouldn't have gone and refilmed. And I think
I
But
think
YouTube
YouTube was
has-
really useful
yeah.
because people could comment on it.
It's
and
more
give
like
Yeah.
it's like a worldwide thing. Anyone could have commented that.
Without
probably.
I think YouTube is an
without-
amazing tool for us.
without
use.
the
And we
YouTube
used
we
it,
wouldn't
like-
have known to refilm.
We
and-
used it in
and
combination with
film
like our
everything.
Facebooks and stuff like that to post it and get it out to as many people as we could.
Friends.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
to
we
get
did
feedback.
actually. We did get some feedback on
Facebook,
Facebook,
yeah.
but mostly that was just our friends and family saying, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is very good," rather than the
Yeah.
And that's a bit
actual
biased.
feedback
Yeah.
that we want.
We don't want. It's kind
But-
of like saying like it's biased. Like they're probably just saying it. They're good,
Yeah,
but
we
we
want-
wanted like
yeah.
real opinions.
But we
from
got
people that
quite
just, we
constructive
didn't know.
Yeah.
criticism. Without YouTube, we wouldn't have known like anything really. We wouldn't have refilmed,
Yeah, I
and we wouldn't have.
I think YouTube
That's
was
like
Without-
really
YouTube.
Yeah.
That's like for my
Especially since-
inspiration.
Yeah, like we were looking at like film
Trailers.
trailers and different scenes
Yeah.
of films and all sorts. So